Well then folks, it's that time of year again. Oops, excuse me, I'm unusually for me in a precarious position. There was the promise of mist this morning. What we've actually got is thick flipping fog. And I was stuck for where to go. I've got about 6 locations, and for love nor money could I make a decision on which one to go for. So I shot down to Padley, and it was too low. There was no mist in Padley Gorge. Bizarre. It's all slightly higher. So I've come back up onto a road that I know as 13 Bends. Probably isn't 13 Bends. Leads you from the top end of Sheffield out towards Chatsworth. And I came here in the snow last year. I thought, oh, we're going to have a look around there then. Because I know there's a few trees here. I wasn't quite sure what I was going to find because I can't really remember, apart from one image, I can't really remember what else I saw. The heather is about done, but I did find this clump here. And behind it are 2 trees, which I think, we're back at that again, I think they might be beech trees. Although they could be silver birch because the trunks and the branches have got that beautiful silver bark on them. But they're really, really small leaves. But anyway, behind it are more trees, or behind them are more trees, but the mist is doing quite a good job of separating them from these 2. And we have the heather as the foreground. It's a foggy sky. There is no colour, there is no detail. Does it work as a composition? Yeah, I'm not really sure. I'm not convinced. I've got a nice mound of heather, which is almost U-shaped, so it comes in bottom right, curves round and goes out to the left. It's a little bit thinner at the left-hand side than it is on the right. And then I have the 2 trees. I can't find a position to put my tripod in where I get the trees central. Oh, excuse me, it's a bit... That might be better. I prefer the trees if they were central. And we've got rush hour traffic, because it is Monday the 2nd of September. I think that's the one. Oops, I didn't want to do that. I've put a grad filter on just to try and control that sky a little bit. I think that might be a bit better. I've set focus. Yeah, I think the trees are about central. Let's have a look. Yeah. Actually, I think I prefer that one to the first one. I'm at f14, 1/3 of a second, and I'm on the 11 to 16. I did put the polarizer on to try and make the purple of the heather pop, but to be perfectly fair, I don't think it's actually doing anything. So that's what we started on. Whether I'm going to find anything else or not, I don't know. It would be lovely if we could get some light burning through the mist, but the mist is set to stay till around about, well, if the weather forecast is to be believed, about 11 o'clock. But yes, first image, not disheartened. Love the pop of purple at the bottom of the image, and it points you in towards those 2 trees. So that's it. First one done. I'm going to wander on to see what else I can find. Are you coming? Coastal work, I feel relatively comfortable with these days. I'm fairly certain that so long as the tide's where I want it to be, and the sky, oh, excuse the midges, I knew I was going to get eaten to death today. Sorry, there's a really strange noise going on the road. Ooh. How bizarre. So long as the tide's right and the sky's doing something, I'm relatively confident I can come away with an image I like. Not so much with woodland. I do find, having watched the likes of Mr. Baxter and Mally Davies, I do find myself looking for a relationship between the subjects that I'm shooting. Some sort of conversation that's going on. Sounds a bit bizarre, and it is. There was a tree back there that I think is absolutely stunning. It's quite spindly. It's got a couple of branches coming off it, and they're gnarly and they're covered in moss, and there was some spiders' webs on it. Wish I put my fly repellent on. And I thought, I like that. And in the foreground are lots of ferns. And because I was shooting on the wide angle, the 11-16, it almost looked like the ferns were a bit of a waterfall effect. At least that's what it appeared to be on the screen. But I couldn't see any sort of relationship because there was nothing else around it. I took the shot, you know, why not? I've walked just a little bit further and I've come across this group of trees, and autumn is just starting. The trees are just beginning to turn. Could be an early autumn, a couple of weeks' time, we could be cooking with gas here. But I keep digressing, I've come across this group of trees. We've got, excuse me, a group of 4, and they're coming up. There might even be one that's split, and they're sort of moving outwards. And then to the right-hand side of it, I've got a single tree with one behind it, and the single tree is split into 2. And I can almost see a conversation going off with those. On the right-hand side of the image is open space. There's a little tree in the distance, and then there's another group of 4 further back again, and they're being softened by the mist. We've got a mass of green ferns, which is fabulous, as the foreground. And I've composed it so that the tree is leaning to the right, and I've got the empty space on the right hand side, and it almost looks like they're having a conversation. Come this way, come this way. I could just be talking the biggest load of baloney you've ever heard, but that's what it said to me as soon as I saw it. I'm shooting, or I did one at 1/16 of a second, 1/16th of a second, and the light is increasing, so 1/25th of a second, little bit of blown sky top right, but nothing that I can't sort in post without affecting the rest of it. I'm trying to get some of this green foreground in. I'm having to be a little bit careful because on the left here, oops, that's what I wanted, is another tree, a bush, a shrub, and I don't want that in the frame. So I'm trying to keep all its leaves out, trying to keep everything level. I tried it as a portrait, didn't work. Shooting it as a landscape image seems to work better. 1/25th of a second, f14, ISO 100. I've set my white balance back down to normal, which is 5880, and there's just enough exposure to bring out the silver in the bark. And I think it's actually picked up the little bit of muted colour coming out in the leaves. That I quite like. I'd like it even more if I wasn't getting eaten alive. And there is the most beautiful spider's web over there, with a huge spider sat right in the middle of it. I'm very tempted to put the 70-200 on. Might have a go at that. But yes, quite like that. The mist isn't showing any signs of lifting, so we're okay. But yeah, woodland is, because I don't tend to do woodland from one year to the next, I lose what little ability I feel I had, and it's a learning curve again. So if you feel the same, don't worry about it, it will come back to you. Fingers crossed. Right, I'm going to pop the 70-200 on, try and get that there spider. Excuse me, I can't get any closer to it through all these ferns, so it'll have to be the long lens. I've wandered further along the path than I've ever done before, and I'm not feeling it, so I'm not pushing it. It's 9 o'clock, so I've been out 3 hours already, and the photos I've got that I like are actually of spiders' webs. This tree caught my eye from quite a distance. I thought, oh, I like the shape of that. It actually looks a little bit more gnarly and twisted when you're further away from it. But I've been stood here, going to and fro, up and down, trying to find a composition. And I used the mobile to start with. Love using the mobile to frame up compositions. And I think I've settled on one that works. Now, the hill isn't straight. It's got a hump, and then it goes down, and then it's got another hump, and then it goes down again, and there's a bit of a hump coming in from this side. But just about here, I've got a fairly clear view. There's just one fern in the way. It's really annoying me, and I think I can probably move a couple of mil to my right. The fern was just encroaching slightly. I popped the 11-16 on because I wanted a wider view. I want the tree on the left hand side because it's leaning into the right. I've got some lovely heather, and then there's a downward patch of just grasses that contrast quite well. It almost leads you up from the right hand corner of the image to the tree. There's nothing behind it. The sky is still bland because the fog, well, I thought it was lifting and it seems to have dropped back down again. Strange weather. I've gone up to ISO 640 because the breeze is picking up and I'm trying to get the branches frozen. I want them sharp. So I'm f9, 1/400th of a second and ISO 640. And I think I quite likes that. I focused up on the tree. F9 should make sure everything's relatively sharp. Yeah, quite like that. As I say, I've tried loads of different, just tweaking. Going up slightly, coming down slightly. Yeah, and that's it. Quite happy with that one. The images I'm happiest with are the spiders' webs, because they are absolutely gorgeous. But I'd come out to shoot trees, but if something else catches your eye, go for it. Nothing wrong with it. Variety is the spice of life, as they say. So yes, trying to get my eye back in, ready for autumn, because it's not far away. It's definitely turning. Some of the ferns are going a beautiful yellow colour. So yes, good morning. Nice and peaceful, except for the traffic rushing by on the A6, whatever it is, out to Chatsworth. Not a soul around. Lovely. So I hope you like the images. Fingers crossed they actually turn out. And have a good couple of weeks, and I'll see you in 2 weeks' time. Take care, guys. Toodaloo.